I would like to thank all the representatives and the bipartisan leadership that it took to get this across the finish line and onto your desk.
Thank you. They really worked hard. Thank you. They will. Thank you. This was
Today, a mother's improbable victory. Nicole and her daughter Jessica, who says she was sold for sex on the website Backpage.com when she was just 15 years old. Joining President Trump, surrounded by survivors, some teary, some joyful, as he signed the Fight Online Sex Trafficking Act, which gives prosecutors and victims more legal firepower.
This is so important to all of us, and I thank you, Mr. President, so much for signing this bill into law.
Yvonne Ambrose's daughter Desiree was killed after being sold on Backpage 2 years ago. She was just 16.
It means so much to our family to lose your child who has been trafficked, which is modern day slavery.
Outside the White House, the group that has now become like family.
I always feel that Desiree is with me. She gave me the words. She wanted me to speak out for her in her honor.
Backpage.com, shut down in a federal raid last Friday, operated as a classified ad website whose racy sections like escorts and body rubs, law enforcement called thinly veiled code for prostitution, much of it underage. In the past, many have filed lawsuits claiming Backpage facilitates prostitution, but a law called the Communications Decency Act has protected the site. Under the new law, companies will be held liable for knowingly facilitating online prostitution.
It's a great day for those women and girls and boys who have been trafficked because they now have the opportunity to seek justice.
It's the latest reckoning for Backpage after 7 of its executives federally indicted last week on 93 counts for promoting prostitution and money laundering.
Was today a little bit of closure for you?
Yes. It is really, truly a day for real healing to really, truly begin. Our voices were heard. It wasn't in vain. Their pain was not in vain today.
Over, down.
We first met Nicole and Jessica 2 years ago. At the time, she asked us to call her Natalie. But now she says she's ready to reclaim her true identity.
I am not Natalie. I am not JS. I am not a title on a lawsuit or an alias used on Backpage. I'm not any of those things. I am Jessica. I'm a proud survivor, a mother, a daughter, a sister. I am all of these things, and I want to be known for who I am and not just what's happened to me.
As a high school freshman, she says she was sold for sex on Backpage.com after running away from home.
How many encounters do you think you had during that time?
Over 150.
Over 150?
Yeah.
Would that have been possible without Backpage?
No way.
She says her pimp actually preferred the site.
What did he say to you about Backpage?
Said it's safer, said it's easier not to get caught, put me in all these clothes, took some pretty provocative pictures of me, and then go to Backpage and you can click on to post an ad.
How often did you work?
Every single day. It's too simple. Asked you if you're 18 or older. I mean, a simple yes click was about as far as that went.
You know, but it tore our family apart.
Her father, Tom, spent nights looking for her.
What ran through my mind was what I was going to do and how I was going to handle it when I found her.
After many months, Jessica was freed after a raid by police, finally going home. But it wasn't easy for anyone.
I didn't know how to treat her. You know, I didn't know if she wanted me to hug her. Or... It was awkward. I was, for the first time since the day she was born, you know, and I was the first one to hold her and see her. And I cut her umbilical cord. I felt awkward to hold my own kid.
We teamed up with Seattle's Vice Squad to find out for ourselves how simple it was for young girls to be sold online. This undercover detective created an ad for an 18-year-old girl named Angel, adding a critical detail.
And then here's the kicker, right? Ask about my younger friend.
Within minutes of pressing post, the ad was up and running.
That's way if you can kind of figure out
Oh
what
my God.
they want as far as that.
We've gotten several phone calls, several texts.
Another
call. Now they're really coming in. Hey, beautiful, are you Angel? Oh, right then, there's another one. It's 7:18. It hasn't even been up for a half an hour. This is crazy.
This post actually led to a real-life arrest.
He tried to bolt.
Police, you're under arrest.
Backpage did tell us they make sure to always cooperate with law enforcement investigations. They also touted a multi-tiered system for screening their adult ads, including employing moderators, a filter for keywords, and a user-reported flagging system. But last year, a U.S. Senate report found Backpage was using that keyword filter to actively edit adult ads, erasing words like Lolita, little girl, and Amber Alert to hide underage trafficking.
The fact that these terms were stripped out through this screening process does not mean that that girl's age was magically changed.
That Senate report playing a crucial role in Jessica's goal of holding Backpage accountable. She and her family ultimately sued Backpage and reached a settlement. Her case, the first to focus on the claim the site was editing ads. One of the executives allegedly behind the practice, CEO Carl Ferrer. Back in 2015, he had been a no-show when initially called to answer questions on Capitol Hill. But we tracked him down overseas.
Here we are in Amsterdam. Why? Well, we realized that Backpage.com was sold to an unnamed Dutch holding company, so we started looking. Did Carl Ferrer own any companies in Amsterdam?
We discovered Ferrer seemed to be running a few other escort websites from abroad, including a site eerily similar to Backpage called Cracker, available nearly everywhere except the U.S.
Carl Ferrer has turned down several of our interview requests, so we've come here to this hotel in Amsterdam because we found out there is a conference that Carl is scheduled to attend.
Carl Ferrer? Hi, we've been looking for you. Do you have a second? I'm Gloria Riviera with ABC News.
Yeah.
And we just want to ask you a few questions.
Oh, no comment.
You know, law enforcement tells us that underage girls are trafficked on Backpage.com, your company.
No comment.
We saw a real-life example of this last week.
I'm sorry.
You're a father. What would you want to say to him? He wants to know why this is going on.
Months later, authorities arrested Ferrer and Backpage owners Michael Lacey and James Larkin on state charges in California of pimping underage victims and other felonies. Those charges were dropped, judges citing CDA protection. But in early 2017, Backpage executives were again called to testify on Capitol Hill.
After consultation with counsel, I declined to answer your question.
Now Backpage appears to be gone for good with the recent charges against Larkin, Lacey, and several other executives. Ferrer was not named in last week's federal indictment of Backpage executives, but the initials CF are included throughout the document.
My sense is that CF is likely Carl Ferrer, and that he made a deal with the government to provide information and probably for a lesser sentence.
That indictment says the company earned over $500 million in prostitution-related revenue since its inception, and that virtually every dollar flowing into Backpage's coffers represents the proceeds of illegal activity.
The argument was always, well, it's very difficult to police the internet. They would say, we can't be held responsible for millions and millions of content providers. Well, this law now makes it very clear that they must do it.
Jessica says there will always be more work to do.
I hope it's inspiring for people that, you know, if you're fighting for something that's for a good cause, then don't stop until you get what you want.
Neither mother nor daughter ever stopped fighting for each other and all daughters for sale.
I just want to hug you.
Okay, you can hug me.
For Nightline, I'm Gloria Riviera in Washington, D.C.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.